All right, folks, welcome to the Crack House Podcast. My name is Mike O'Sullivan. Today, we're just going to do a little 2020 year in review. I'm not going to cover everything, I'm not going to get to everything, but this is just my take from the year. It's finally over. Let's start with one of the biggest stories was COVID. Um, mm, mm, mm. It wasn't a bat in China, folks. This thing was made in a lab, it got out, and it killed a lot of people. Whether you are a masker for or against, I don't know if it helps. I don't know if it hurts. Wear a goddamn mask. Just wear the stupid mask. That's all it comes down to. Wearing the mask. We're going to go from last year, there was 2.8 million deaths in this country. This year, we're looking at 3.2 million. Now, was that 400,000 deaths all COVID? Who knows? Definitely, I look at COVID this way. If you're a healthy person, you're probably going to make it through, no problem. Anyone that had those underlying medical conditions was fucked. Anyone that had high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, whatever, those were the people all dying. As soon as they got it, they were done. And it really attacks the respiratory system. From everyone I've heard that had it, their lungs still feel like shit. Um, China, I don't want to China bash, but they definitely lied about all this shit. Think about it. They had 20 million cell phone subscribers disappear off the planet. Just 20 million. And people have attributed that to, well, the 5G technology came out. Some people just canceled their subscriptions because they were staying home. Don't you need a phone then if you're staying home? Wouldn't you want to communicate with people? Even if, okay, let's just say 2/3 of these people just canceled subscriptions. That's still not there. That's 7 million people, roughly 7 million people. So as far as that goes, I don't know. But the vaccine supposedly here, I don't trust the vaccine either. They did not have enough time to study this vaccine. There's already been people having severe allergic reactions where they need like EpiPens. Those are the most severe cases. Other people are getting respiratory distress from it. So this is going to be another thing. If you don't need the vaccine, don't get it. Let some other people go through that first before you decide to be the guinea pig in all this. So and it did. It really it affected elderly people. It really went after them. Uh, like I said, anyone with the underlying medical conditions, it really it destroyed them. I mean, how many? Look at that guy Herman Cain. He was fine, had cancer, got the COVID. Boom, done. So yeah, wear a mask. I don't like wearing a mask, but you got to wear a mask. So just wear a mask when you go out. If it helps stop the spread, and we can try and get back to normal lives. I mean, does anyone really want to keep going through this? Does anyone want to be shut down anymore? Does anyone still want to be locked up with their kids for another 9 months? I know I don't. So wear the mask and listen. Uh, what else did we have? Oh yeah, we had the election. That went swimmingly. Uh, I just don't know. When is Trump just going to come out and say, listen, I lost? Shit happens. You lost. I don't believe he's going to run in 2024. If I was this guy, this is a guy totally like, he's all about making money. He had 72 million people vote for him. Joe Rogan doesn't get 72 million people. Start a podcast with a Patreon. This guy will be he'll have more money than Jeff Bezos in a year. The other thing with the election that it really pisses me off is both sides. You can't shit on the other side of the country that isn't voting for you for almost a year, and then once you win, say, I'm going to bring everybody together. It just doesn't work that way. The left and the right, they both did the same thing. You can't call half the country racist and Nazis and then say, well, I'm going to help. I'm going to work for you now. I want to bring this country. No. You can't call the other half libtards and, you know, they don't, they've got their head buried in the sand. It's not going to work. I mean, uh, AOC, AOC was out there selling like $80 hoodies saying tax the rich while she's wearing a $3,000 ensemble suit. If that's not the definition of irony, I don't know what is. And she actually had to cut the price down. You can buy one of her hoodies that say tax the rich for $65 now. Gee, what a sweetheart she is. But enough with them. You had New York City, which was a goddamn mess. And the topper of this whole year with COVID had to be this buffoon dancing with his wife in Times Square on New Year's Eve while balloon animals, like those things you see at used car lots, were all dancing around like this behind him. He looked like an idiot. They should have panned the camera around to all the businesses that have closed down in Times Square to show what he's done to this city. I don't. It looked like something out of the movie Brazil. It was like this dystopian future. You had two people in a pen. It was completely ridiculous, and he's walking around like he's the conquering emperor. Look what he did. Look at the city's fine. Everything is closed up. I just read today a McDonald's closed in the city. McDonald's, which doesn't close at all. The one of the most famous McDonald's in Manhattan, the one on West 3rd Street and 6th Avenue down in the Village, is gone, folks. That McDonald's has been there for probably over 30 years. I remember going down there when I used to hang out in the Village when I was a teenager. And that McDonald's, so it's got to be over 30 years. They went out of business. If you look across the street when you're down over there on 6th Avenue, that IFC theater, I think they finally took the boards down. This guy shut down the city so much. He shut down all the local comedy clubs. He shut down local comedy clubs, but yet Saturday Night Live can have an indoor show. He truly doesn't get it. And thank God his time is running out. He'll be gone soon. Cuomo, you know, did he kill all those old people in the nursing home? We'll never know now. I don't think that's, I mean, I know the Freedom of Information Act was filed to get all that information, but nothing's been said yet. Nothing has come out. He was on the short list, I think, for one of Biden's cabinet spots, but I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know if he's going to get that. All I know is he hates the state troopers. You know what I mean? It feels like he definitely gets treated with kid gloves, of course, by the media because of his brother. You know, if he had been a Republican governor that had put sick people in these nursing homes and all these old people died, allegedly, it's still allegedly. I don't know the facts. I don't know if everything's come out, but you think this would have been a top story on CNN every day? You think Don Lemon would have been crying, saying this is Trump's America? I mean, come on. But here's the weird thing. In this entire year, the government actually came out and said UFOs exist and nobody gave a shit. They essentially come out and said, yeah, we have documentation and evidence of UFOs, and no one cared because of all this shit going on. I mean, I didn't even talk about George Floyd. We still have that. That's going to be a whole nother thing. I mean, listen, is there going to be another black guy that's going to get killed by the police who's unarmed? It's going to happen. Is there going to be another white guy that's unarmed? That's going to happen. Latino? Yeah, it's going to happen. The thing with that is now we have the Democrats in power. They don't want riots. They don't want, this country being looted again. Is it going to be an opportunity when this does happen again? I'm not going to say it's going to happen again. It's the law of averages. It's the algorithm. It's going to happen again. And that's when these politicians are all going to come out and say now's the time for calm and peace because they don't want rioting and looting under their watch. When it was under the last guy's watch, it was like, he's the Nazi, he's the race baiter. Go ahead, burn the city down. There's already been 2 incidents. I believe one was in Chicago and one was in Ohio. And the news kind of like swept that under the rug because they don't want that going in to Biden's inauguration. And I hate taking sides. I hate going left and right. They're both full of shit. I'm not a member of either party. That's how much I hate them both. But you're going to watch with the COVID stuff. CNN has their little death ticker that goes up, that's on 24 hours a day. Is that going to start to disappear now towards the end of January? Who knows? Who knows, folks? I don't know. I'm just a guy talking into a computer right now. So you can believe me, not believe me. I don't care. I'm just trying to entertain, tell a couple of things, get some things off my chest. That's all I'm trying to do. What else did we have this year? Ghislaine Maxwell. Did they schedule her suicide yet? Or when is that going to happen? I can't wait. That's going to take over the whole news cycle for like a week. And I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see if she names name, even though like everything's been sealed already. She can't even say anything. People whose names haven't even been mentioned yet already have immunity. What else did we have? Just in the past last week, I thought last week was very funny because of Alec Baldwin with him and his wife Hillary, whatever the hell you want to call her. She's just a white girl from Boston. That's it. She's not exotic. She's nothing. I found that to be hilarious because, I mean, Alec Baldwin comes off as like that holier than thou kind of guy. And now he's caught up in all this cultural appropriation bullshit. He basically married like a Rachel Dolezal, which I thought was pretty funny. Do you think she put on the accent around the house when no one was around and he would just snap and be like, shut up, there's no one here, you idiot. But unless she kept it going and he didn't know, which I don't know. I don't think so. But I mean, he's got like that Long Island white trash gene in him anyway. He probably put a couple of holes in the sheetrock when he found out. And hopefully they move on from this. I mean, I wonder if she's going to come out and apologize in English and in Spanish. I think that would be funny. I think the funniest thing would have been is if SNL would have done a bit about it and they could have gotten Donald Trump to play Alec Baldwin. I thought that would have been hilarious. I wish Lorne Michaels could have pulled that one off. But who knows? Who knows, folks? Who knows? This is just the world we're living in. Who knows what 2021 is going to bring? I think the motto for 2021 should just be like, don't be an asshole and wear the mask when they tell you to wear the mask. You don't want to wear a mask inside your house? Don't wear a mask inside. I don't get the people driving with a mask. If you're in a car by yourself driving, why do you need a mask? You don't need the mask on. Take the mask off. Take the mask off when no one's around. Anyway, but a lot of people died. We did. We had a lot of people died. And we had a lot of, there was a lot of famous deaths this year. Like, who just died recently? Dawn Wells died. Marianne from Gilligan's Island. I think that's how you can really tell a person, like a man, if they're a Marianne or a Ginger. I myself am a Marianne. Some guys are Gingers. Some guys start out as Gingers. I think we all start out as Gingers and then proceed to Marianne. Ginger was way too high maintenance. Marianne's like a six-pack and, hanging out in the field. So I think more guys will go towards Marianne. Ginger, a lot of money. She's going to want a lot of jewelry, a lot of high-end stuff. I'm more, go Marianne. Guys, go for the Marianne. Who else died this year? We had David Prowse. Darth Vader died. Well, one of the guys. 3 guys played that role. 3 guys played Darth Vader in those first 3 movies. You had James Earl Jones was the voice. Awesome voice. That was one of the best things they could have done. David Prowse, by the way, didn't know half the lines. he would just stand there in the costume. David Prowse was the guy in the costume. And then remember in Jedi when they finally take his mask off and he's that like Quado looking disfigured thing? That's a different guy. That's another actor. I don't even know if he's dead or alive, but I'm sure when he dies, we'll find out. But David Prowse didn't know. Remember the famous line, "I am your father"? He didn't even know that. They said he was pissed. Him and Lucas had a big falling out. He would never do like the conventions and stuff. Anytime like official Star Wars stuff, whatever falling out they had a falling out. So David Prowse is dead. Sorry. He was also in Clockwork Orange. He was that muscle guy working out in Clockwork Orange. Alex Trebek. I think everyone my age, we all grew up on him on Jeopardy. If you watch Jeopardy, the guy was a legend. I'm not going to shit on Alex Trebek. I loved Alex Trebek. That was a great show. Jeopardy was a great show. Rest in peace. What is Alex Trebek is no longer the host of Jeopardy. Sean Connery, another legend. Wasn't a big Bond guy. If you're not a Bond fan, who gives a shit? But people are, oh, he was the first, he was the best. I didn't even grow up on him. Roger Moore was my guy growing up. I only saw the Sean Connery ones when they were on like TV every now and again. I liked him more of Hunt for Red October, unreal. He was in Hunt for Red October, Untouchables. He wins the Academy Award. He was phenomenal in that. Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. He steals the whole movie. He was great. He was a great actor. Time Bandits. Go watch Time Bandits. He has a small role in that. It's a Terry Gilliam film. It's not a Monty Python film, but it's off the wall like all his movies are. Time Bandits is a great little movie. Go check out Time Bandits if you want to watch a movie. Eddie Van Halen. Rock god, gone. And no one even knew he was sick. Really, like he had cancer on and off, but no one knew he was battling it that bad. R.I.P. man. That guy, if you're another one my age, your childhood is slowly dying, folks. Oh. Speaking of dead people, Chadwick Boseman, the guy who played Black Panther. That guy had he's like he reminds me of, his career reminds me of the guy that played Fredo in The Godfather. I forget his name. The guy that played, he was only in like 5 movies. What the hell was his name? The guy that played Fredo in The Godfather. I forget it. Someone can text me. Someone, whatever. The guy that played was in like 5 movies. All 5 movies were nominated for Best Picture, something like that. And Chadwick Boseman, he kind of had a career like that where he played like these iconic figures. All right, we'll start off with Black Panther, iconic comic book figure. And who else he played? He played like Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson. The guy had some career, like he worked with Denzel Washington. The guy had an amazing career. Unfortunately, it was towards like the end of his life, but some career, man. And I wonder what they're going to do with this. They're supposed to make a Black Panther 2. I wonder what's going to happen with that. Wilford Brimley died. And it wasn't from the diabetes. That guy was only like in his 80s. He was only, when that movie Cocoon came out, he was only 49. That guy looked 80 in like 1983. I thought he was 114 when he died. But he's gone too. R.I.P. Wilford Brimley. He should have eaten more Quaker Oats. Maybe he'd still be alive. But Jerry Stiller basically played the same character on 2 separate shows and killed in both of them. I'm not going to shit on Jerry Stiller. He was hilarious. He killed on Seinfeld and he killed on King of Queens. So R.I.P. Jerry Stiller. Fred Willard, another guy. Fred Willard was 86. I didn't think he was that old. But wow. Very funny guy. I met him once in Manhattan. Fred Willard, very tall. Had to be about 6'3", 6'4". Just a tall guy. Curly Neal died. And for those, if you don't know who Curly Neal is, go fuck yourself. Curly Neal was in the Harlem Globetrotters. He was the bald guy back in the 70s. He was on the Gilligan's Island. We'll go back to Dawn Wells. He was on the Gilligan's Island episode, the TV special they did where they played the robots. Entertained millions upon millions of people. Guy had amazing dribbling skills. R.I.P. Curly Neal. And if the Harlem Globetrotters are in your neighborhood, Go check them out. They're always a delight. Uh, what else did I do this year? But I watched a lot of movies. And in the past couple of weeks, had a lot of downtime with the holidays. Just been watching movies. I watched Batman, the Mel Gibson Santa Claus movie. Wasn't too bad. It's a way different take on Santa Claus. Mel Gibson plays Santa Claus. It's a real low budget movie. I think it cost like $20 million. I think half of that went into Mel Gibson's pocket because the whole movie's out in the snow. There's no flying reindeer or anything like that. The movie, it's kind of like one of those morality, I think, kind of tales. It's about how people are becoming more and more evil, and Santa Claus is making less and less toys for the good and the bad. If you're bad, all you get is coal. So this one little kid who's a real piece of shit in the movie, he gets coal, and he hires a hitman to kill Santa Claus. And the guy Walton Goggins, he's a great actor. Everything he's in, he's really good at. He plays the hitman, and he's got some issues with Santa Claus from when he was a little kid. Mel Gibson has obviously been Santa Claus like a very long time. You'll see it as you watch the movie. I'm not going to give too much away, but the hitman is hired to kill Santa Claus. The action ensues from there, and watch it. I think it's on. You can watch it on Amazon. I think it's like $6 or $7. Give it a look. It wasn't too bad. I'll tell you what I saw that was a horrific pile of shit was Wonder Woman 2. This movie was unwatchable. I thought it was just dumb from the get-go. It just had no rhyme, no rhythm to it. Gal Gadot, she was great. The other one was great. She was really great in it. She was great in the Justice League. This thing was just, it's supposed to take place in 1984. The whole story just doesn't make it's slow. There's not a lot of action in it. The guy who plays the Mandalorian, that guy, what's his face? Pedro Pascal. He's one of the bad guys in it. He's horrific in it. They definitely try to make him look like Donald Trump. And if you watch the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They give him like the big blonde Trump pompadour hair. They put him in like these it was like 3-piece suits in the 80s. He's wearing that. His character basically like lives off your wishes and takes your soul. If you watch it and you keep Donald Trump in your head while you're watching it, you're like, oh, this was supposed to be a Donald Trump kind of thing. Like he eats your wishes. He eats your soul. And that's kind of like what the bad guy is in this. It's definitely equated to Trump. Watch it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I can't explain it too well, but if you watch it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Kristen Wiig also plays the cheetah in it. Okay. Her character, the cheetah, is like, she's supposed to have like the cheetah outfit on, I guess. You don't see that until like the last 10 minutes of the movie. She doesn't become the character until like the last 10 minutes. The story just didn't. It was a who cares. You're watching it going, who cares about this? That's how bad it was. The other guy comes back, Chris Pine, because Wonder Woman wishes him to come back because this guy, the Pedro Pascal character, is just living off your wishes. He like eats your soul, living the wishes, and it's all based on bullshit, which also is the Trump thing. It's all based on lies. There's a wall that he builds in part of it. You'll see. If you watch this horrific thing, you'll see. But it was just a real awful movie. It had really nothing to do with that whole DC universe that they're trying to do. I didn't enjoy it. The Chris Pine character comes back. The way they bring him back is he just takes over the body of another guy. I didn't get that whole thing. They should have just brought him back from the dead. It was a bad movie. But speaking of bad sequels, there's also another thing. I saw this on Netflix, and I watched about 10 minutes of it. Backdraft 2. Yeah, Backdraft 2. I'm not even going to get into Backdraft 2. If anything should have died in COVID, because of COVID, it should have been Backdraft 2. I did 10 minutes of this movie. It's horrific. Don't even bother. It should have burned. They should have let it burn in the fire. That's how bad it was. I also watched. I got that new HBO Max. If you have HBO, I think it comes with it. So I was watching HBO Max. I watched the Bee Gees documentary. Crazy. That whole band is dead except for the one brother. One guy died from surgery, complications from surgery. The other one had cancer. And then the youngest brother, Andy Gibb, who was like the heartthrob, he was just a cokehead and OD'd in like the 90s, I think it was, late 80s. But those guys wrote so many songs. And they worked with Barbra Streisand, Celine Dion. They're ton, like singer-songwriters, their songwriting, when their career goes to shit in like the late 70s because everyone hates disco, they all reinvent themselves as songwriters, and that's when they work with like Barbra Streisand, Celine Dion, all these people. Really great. I didn't realize either. These guys started out as like teenage kids, and they're from Australia, but they're originally from England. They were like a little teenage band back in Australia in like the mid to late 60s. And they were together they didn't just show up. They were around together for like 10 years before the whole disco era hit and their careers take off. It's a real good documentary. Give it a look. I also watched, if everyone remembers, Heaven's Gate. I think it was back in 97. There was like 40 people that killed themselves, that religious cult. That's a 4-part documentary on HBO. I'm not going to give it. It's real weird. It looks like just a lot of like rich people who were hippies. The whole thing started in like the early 70s. The Heaven's Gate people. And it gets into how they started off. A lot of them were all like just hippies looking for like the next thing. And it wasn't just that guy. Remember the guy with the white bowl haircut? He was like their leader. He was a leader with a woman, and she died like 20 years prior. Once she died, he kind of like went off the rails, and that's why everything happened. And it leads up to that. It's a really great documentary. I think it is called Heaven's Gate. It's on HBO Max. Check it out. Finally, one of my final ones, I watched Cobra Kai the last couple of days. I am not giving it away. I'm not going to say anything about it. If you like the first 2 seasons, you're going to like this. I think it moved a little slow, but I mean, it goes back to its roots with the first couple of movies. Really good stuff. Martin Cove's character, Kreese, killed this year. He killed it. I mean, I wonder if they get nominated. I wonder if he can get nominated for an Emmy. I thought he was that good. Him and the guy that played Homelander on The Boys, 2 of the most underrated performances you'll see all year. If you're not watching The Boys, it's only 2 seasons in. You can binge it. Give it a look. It's a great show. Watch The Boys. Watch Cobra Kai. What else did I want to talk about? That's pretty much it. Like I said, I hope everyone has a great 2021. This has got to get better. We all gotta, everyone's just got to pitch in and do your part. That's it. You don't have to take the lead on everything. If you can do one thing to be a better person, do that one thing to be a better person and to be a better person for other people. All right. Other than that, listen, have a great week. I'll see you next week. I may have a guest. I may not have a guest. I don't know. I just felt like getting some stuff off my chest, talking about 2020. Other than that, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.